What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So, we went ahead and did the Proving Grounds. We got everything in the main Orzammar city squared away, but of course Harriman had one last thing to request of us, and that was to journey into the deep roads to find Branka. Of course, with the Paragon's endorsement, he's pretty much guaranteed to be king, so we have the path before us, gotta dip into the deep roads. I guess there's nobody better for the job than a warden. Now, before we head on in, we do have some level ups to take care of, so do 36, 33. We do need to start working on his abilities here. We are, of course, just going to give him Rally, which is the champion's presence inspires nearby allies, giving them bonus to attack and defense while this mode is active. When coupled with Motivate, the attack bonus increases. And this is Motivate, and Superiority is Warcry now knocks down nearby opponents, so we do want to get this tree filled out as soon as possible, but for now we're going to go with Rally. We're going to drop this all the way over here towards his sustains. We're not going to have that on all the time like we do the other two. We're going to kind of use them on a per need basis. Got to level up for Morrigan too. What do we do with you, Morrigan? We'll give you 2 willpower, 1 magic, because 47 is plenty high, but the mana pool could always be better. On second thoughts, we're actually going to get you a cunning up. Get you some more tactics. Now, where are we? We finally have Crush in Prison, which is huge. Where did that end up on your ability bar? Let's put these all the way down here. They can kind of go wherever. We don't necessarily use many of these abilities down this end of the bar, really. Go ahead and pop her telekinetic weapons for the journey ahead, and let's get going. Should be interested in heading into the deep roads.
So, you were serious before when you said you wanted to help Branka, huh? I'm Oghren. I don't know if you remember. People seem to forget me these days. Or ignore. I forget which.
How did you know I'm here about Branka?
Not everyone hates me, you know. There's enough people who know I'm interested. They make sure I hear if anyone's looking for her. They say Harriman's team's finally learned something, and he's sending you to follow it. But they haven't found Branka herself, and that means whatever they've got, it's not enough if you don't know what she was looking for. If we pool our knowledge, we stand a chance of finding Branka. Otherwise, good sodding luck.
Well, based on what we know about Oghren, being the best warrior of his generation, he would be of use to us in the deep roads. Sounds like we have a deal.
You should know that Branka was looking for the Anvil of the Void, the secret to building golems, which was lost centuries ago. The smith Caradin built it, and with it, Orzammar had 100 years of peace, while it was protected by the golems forged on the anvil. As far as anyone knows, the anvil was built in the old Aeducan Thaig. Branka planned to start looking there, if she could ever find it. All she knew was that it was past Caridin's cross. No one's seen that Thaig for 500 years.
Well, we are looking for that. Harriman gave me a map. I can get to Caridin's cross.
If we're going, let's get moving. Branka's not gonna sodding find herself.
You're probably right about that. So now we do unfortunately have to drop Morrigan. He's gonna go chill in camp for a little bit. We are gonna take Oghren here. He's gonna add a lot of flavor to the things we're gonna be dealing with. I did come prepared for Oghren since I did know that he was gonna be around. We have a couple options here. We can make him a Reaver. Demonic spirits teach more than blood magic. Reavers terrorize their enemies, feast upon the souls of their slain opponents to heal their own flesh, and can unleash a blood frenzy that makes them more powerful as they come nearer to their own deaths. That is 1 constitution and 5 resistance. And then, of course, the champion, we already know what the champion stuff does. We actually are going to make him a Reaver, because I think the survivability of that might balance out the squishy nature of two-handed warriors. He, of course, comes with the 200 tree maxed out, so we don't have to worry about any investment for that. And a Devour is activated. The Reaver revels in death, absorbing the lingering energy of all nearby corpses, each of which partially restores the Reaver's own health. Go ahead and cop that instantly. We are going to dip into our inventory and set Oghren up a little bit. Like I said, I came prepared. I knew we were going to be picking him up. I figured I'd bring him the Blood Dragon armor. It does look pretty good on a dwarf, if I had to say so myself. Definitely suited for that. We also brought him a sword. He didn't put any runes in it, which I actually should have. I did forget to do that. I don't think we have any jewelry for him. Now we'll dip into his tactics. You are going to be aggressive, of course. Scrapper is going to give us some general things here. Now, 200 sweep surrounded by 2 enemies. That seems like it should be 3, bare minimum. Critical strike, mighty blow. See, these things need to be on high ranking enemies. Mighty blow can be normal or higher, I think. Sunder armor, medium armor, medium or high armor rating, excuse me, that can be fine. Thunder arms, I would say, would need to be only on elites. You don't really have to worry about the vanilla enemies doing that kind of stuff. And pommel strike is good in general, but I'm not sure about the way that the tactic comes by base. We'll go ahead and put that on elite or higher too. Now, self health. If he gets under 50, he's going to use the reaver ability. We just got him. Powerful swings is an interesting one. I don't necessarily like powerful swings. It can be a very big drain, whereas I'll explain quickly why I'm not a big fan of powerful swings. So while in this mode, the character puts extra muscle behind each swing, gaining a bonus to damage but suffering penalties to attack and defense. Two-handed strength reduces the penalties to attack and defense. And he does have two-handed strength, but again, I'm not sure that I want to be nerfing him for the extra, like, chunky hits. So instead of that, we're going to activate Indomitable instead of powerful swings. He can use Berserk, that's fine. What does Berserk do? The Stench of Blood and Fury drives the Berserker into a willing fury, providing a bonus to damage. Rages incur a penalty to stamina regeneration, however, which constraint reduces. Resilience adds a bonus to health regeneration in this mode. So we're going to let him pop Berserk. We'll see how he plays out, and we'll adjust as a need-by-need basis.
What's this? A human? Did we make these tunnels tall enough for humans? I'm sorry, but I cannot allow you past the front lines without Adesha's permission.
Open your eyes, man! This Grey Warden is on a quest to find your Paragon. Do I have to take your stinking head off?
What Oghren is trying to say is that we have permission.
Oghren could have been Adesha for House Branka. I suppose he's the next best thing in both skill and arrogance. You may pass. I'd offer more assistance, but my command post is here. All of Orzammar relies on us to hold this line.
We're also specifically here for Harriman, so even if Oghren wasn't with us, we still would have been getting by. How far is it to Caradin's Cross?
Your guess is as good as mine. No one's been there in centuries, but both Balin and Harriman had men looking just this week.
Are Darkspawn the only danger in these tunnels?
Of course not. Down here, you're bound to run into giant spiders, deep stalkers, and other vermin.
Deep stalkers?
Ugly beasts they are. Walk on 2 legs, but they have the head of a worm and hunt in packs. Watch out. They're not afraid to take on a group their own size.
Are there no dwarves past this point?
A few outposts. Legion of the Dead mostly, fools that they are. Some scavenger types too.
Legion of the Dead?
It's an independent company of soldiers. They accept no command but their own. Anyone who can bear arms can join, no matter his crimes, or sanity. They hold a funeral when they join, and swear their only goal is a glorious death.
I should go.
Best of luck.
About all we need to know. Let's go find out what the deep roads are going to have in store for us. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting and very big. These roads go across the entire kingdom, basically. Everything you see on the surface is also accessible through everything else. Now that's Caradin's Cross. We actually have Aeducan Thaig here too. That's home to Orzammar's most powerful clan. This Thaig's loss was a great blow to the dwarves. Let's go check out Aeducan Thaig. See if we have anything we can do up here. Now what you're going to find happening a lot is these little cutoffs down here in the deep roads. You see these beautiful tunnels that used to span across the entire Dwarven Kingdom, which is essentially all of Thedas, just underground. I'll do a quick spin through Aeducan Thaig. Just gotta try and take this place piece by piece, really. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Darkspawn and other things to kill while we're here. Already meeting an emissary. He is, of course, the primary target. Once he dies, everything else can become way more simple. You see Oghren's already hidden like a Mack truck, 80 out of the gate. We did come here to kill Darkspawn, and we're already getting to do that, so... It's a very vast location of the game, so... likely I'll have to break the deep roads into multiple episodes, like 3, maybe 4.
On it.
So the runtimes don't end up insane. If I wanted to do the deep roads in its own episode, it'd end up being something like 2.5 hours, probably. Not gonna do that. Gotta make them bite-sized, right? If we're thorough down here, we are likely also able to find a lot of secrets. Has to be a lot of kind of hidden loot and technology down here. I am gonna miss Morrigan's debuff spam, but Win should do okay too. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on all the health and stuff though. You already see we got a little low there. Oghren, surprisingly, is holding up extraordinarily well. Alistair is the one taking most of the punishment. I mean, that is his job, but typically my experiences with Oghren are him taking a lot of damage. He's doing pretty good here. He's holding up. To be expected from the best warrior of Orzammar, I suppose. Now, there's a trap there, but I don't actually think I can disarm magic. That's very interesting. Who knew? Darkspawn longsword.
Let's get started.
Nothing too serious, and I think that is the way we came. Indeed it is, so let's loot these chests. Again, I want to be thorough. There's lots of hidden things down here. We have a small bloody sack.
This should be easy enough.
Bag of limbs. The limbs of some demonic creatures in this sack. Take that. Codex is asunder. Now we do have Darkspawn to go slaughter out there. You see them. Go this way first. Who knows, we might even find a flanking route for them. At the very least, we want to take this side first, because this does seem like the wrong way. You know, my philosophy is to always take the wrong way first. Alistair, I need you up here. It's actually kind of bad. I ran myself way out of position there. The Oghren is already taking a lot of damage here. Get them with a whirlwind, get them dead.
Here we go.
This emissary is likely the real problem here. Alistair, hit a sip. Get our shit together in this fire a little.
Show me what you got.
Oh, that's why Alistair is gonna die here. He had the debuff that I warned you guys about forever ago that only Darkspawn and Blood Mages can do. Just prevents you from healing. That's why he was suffering so hard there.
A task?
I should have used Cleanse Aura. That's on me for not paying enough attention, really.
Right.
Little concentration lapse. You have to be careful still, even though we're this deep in the game. Shouldn't be too much in the way of fights we can't handle in here, though. There was 2 emissaries there, so it's fine to struggle a little when there's 2 like that. Now, which way do we come? In this way, so I believe this way is blocked off, so this will be the only way we can go. It's very much so like a maze down here. Run these back into my tank. Gonna rip the bone. Perfect lineup for a dual sweep. Hopefully Alistair just holds it down. I don't believe I gave him an injury kit, did I? I did not. You are injured, my friend. There we go. Now he's back up to full speed. I'd be interested to find out here why Branka walked her entire house down into the deep roads like this. Of course, she's not going to be an Aeducan Thaig, but she did jump all her people down here. Except Oghren, of course, which is also bizarre that she left her husband. Now, whether that's because she loved him so much she didn't want to put him in danger, or that she just didn't really want to be married to him anymore. I guess we'll see as the game progresses what the answer to that is. Lots of big group fights down here. Nicely done, Oghren. Just hear him talking that shit in his gravelly voice. Now, Oghren gets a really bad rap from the community of this game. He's often considered to be the worst companion, but I love Oghren. Oghren is a very welcome kind of comedic element in this game, I think. I think he balances the rest of the companions pretty well. A little grouchy, a little sour, but has some really funny camp conversations. The story is actually kind of sad too, at least from what we know so far, right? He's the best warrior of his generation, lots of honors in the deep roads, and then he gets married, he's happy, and then all of a sudden his wife leaves him and takes his entire clan down into the deep roads. The next thing you know, he's a drunk, he has no like direction in life. Actually quite sad. I'll eat up first. The guy is determined to kill me here. The only one that didn't aggro to Alistair. Work our way around the battlefield, chop that wood. You guys know the drill at this point.
And stay down.
And stay down. It's like all that glory lost to tragedy. It's kind of Oghren's story that we know so far. Suppose if anything, he's getting a little chance at redemption here. If he had a hand in bringing a Paragon back, he'd certainly be restored to his former station in Orzammar. You know how much those people revere their ancestors, and they consider the Paragons to be living ancestors. Learned a lot about Dwarven society from the codexes. Kind of a lonely, like, haunted feel to all these caverns. Brought it up multiple times, of course, already, but they did a really good job creating the kind of feel of this world. Big deep stalker ambush. I'd love to see Alistair doing his job like that.
Here we go.
Nice. I'm pretty confident in this party. It's not going to be the powerhouse that the double mage is, but it's pretty good. Whenever you start getting into the territory of having 2 warriors in your party, it can be a little lackluster compared to the output you get from other builds, but we'll make it work for sure.
As you wish. This should be easy enough.
Alistair, Papa Torn. Now do Warcry. It's going to debuff all the enemies' attack rates. Walk into the middle of these and hit a whirlwind. Alright, nice and smooth. Losses and damage hasn't been too bad so far. I did again make a ass load of potions before we came down here, just in case, because I didn't want to end up in a position where we ran out of supplies, so I did stock up before we came. I would also recommend you do that. Gotta come down here prepared. Anybody who's played the Dwarf Noble Origin will immediately recognize this location.
Right.
You come down here with your brothers, essentially looking for the Shield of Aeducan. This is where Balin runs his little backstabbing scam where he frames the middle brother for Trian's death. And everybody sides with him because, of course, he's already paid everybody behind closed doors and set up the blackmail ring, so the only person loyal to you is your second in all this encounter.
Let's get started.
Unfortunately, since King Endrin's son wasn't our player character, he's lost to the Deep Roads. Something we'll have to make sure Balin answers for. I'm not sure how dwarves handle elections and the person who loses, especially when it's such a vicious battle for power like it is with Balin and Haramon, but I'm sure you guys can imagine how they handle things like that. I sure know what Balin would do if he won, but I guess what kind of winner Haramon is remains to be seen. But I'm pretty sure if Balin won, he just takes Haramon's head off, then I don't think he would suffer any kind of resistance. Balin is certainly a dictator in the making. We have a cute little Darkspawn ambush here. My party's way behind us, unfortunately. Oghren is in the front line. Right, Oghren, what do you have for me? Oghren, I want you to hit Pommel Strike on him. We're just gonna have to deal with Crushing Prison for now.
Where to?
Well, in the meantime, I'm gonna control Alistair. We're free, so we're gonna take a sip.
Time for a little cleanup. This should be easy enough.
The emissary's having a very bad day thanks to my warriors. And it's over for this little gem.
Here we go.
The Win actually hit the Glyph of Paralysis there at the end of the fight. Like she didn't get stuck at the start.
Let's get started.
There's already some interesting encounters here. The difficulty is certainly a ramp up from what we were dealing with in the Brazilian forest. Which again is why I like to leave this place for last. I think it's quite clear that they want you to come here last. Now this is where we would have been. This is the initial path we took, so I did loop around. Alrighty, so here we are back at the initial start. I think we're pretty good here. I think we did everything we need to do with the Aeducan Thaig, so we snagged that XP and we got the beginning of the quest Asunder. We can go ahead and head to Caradin's Cross. A crossroads within the Deep Roads, named after the ancient Paragon smith. Actually, I'm not sure if you can get jumped in the map travels down here. I don't think so. You see how much has been lost. This is Orzammar, for reference, and all this belongs to the Darkspawn now.
Caridin's Cross. I can't believe Haramont actually tracked this place down. This used to be one of the biggest crossroads in the old Empire. You could get anywhere from here. including Aeducan Thaig.
See any sign of Branka yet?
Not a one. But trust me, we will once we're on the path to the old Aeducan Thaig. She was going to Caridin's home.
Who's Caradin? Actually, we know. What's so important about Aeducan Thaig?
It's the home of Caridin, the Paragon who made the anvil. He was an Aeducan before he founded his own house. And even then, he spent most of his time in their Thaig. Branka figured it was the best guess for where the anvil was located.
We know all about Aeducan Thaig. We got a quest from Orta in the Shaper to find some proof of a house down there in Aeducan Thaig and give it back to her so she can prove her descendants. Do you know anything else about the anvil?
No one but Caridin ever really knew more than it had some kind of stone-blessed power. Every golem who ever ranged across the Empire was hammered on the steel of that anvil, but no one ever knew exactly how they were made. But Branka was sure she could find out.
So you know where to go from here?
Aye. Branka dug up some maps of the ancient empire. It's a little tough to tell with so much of it collapsed now, but near as I can figure, we're on the right path to Aeducan Thaig.
Great, let's go.
I've been waiting for someone to say that for 2 sodding years.
Well, your time has come. Now, I assume these people over here are going to be Balin's lackeys. I'm sure they don't want us to get where we're trying to go. Now, are they going to try and talk to us, or are they just going to immediately run into a fight? Hired goon.
Well, look what we have here. A couple of Haramon's little lackeys. Let's show 'em who's king.
Yeah, how touching. Now you already see this little elven mercenary back here. We're gonna go ahead and take care of this immediately. Now once she's dead, Alistair can pop his taunt, and we can just chop that wood in the back. Balin really needs to find better help.
Let's get started.
Just like a rookie shit show he keeps sending after us. It's not gonna cut the cake, is it?
Ah, win. Care to partake of Oghren's fine homebrew? It's the drink of the gods.
Ale, is it? And I hope it's brewed hygienically?
Of course. I may not know clean from a beggar's ass when it comes to most things, but I don't mess around with my ale.
You know what Oghren kind of reminds me of?
Well,
If anybody watching this has seen The Walking Dead,
Very nice.
Oghren really reminds me of Sergeant Abraham Ford from The Walking Dead.
Then color, nutty flavor, slightly sweet, just a hint of toastiness. There's some spice to it.
We'll take this left path first.
yes,
Watch
yes.
for the beasts.
Is it close?
Cloves. Buy this.
Now, I already saw that in the background here, my party has just quit moving, so I'm not gonna fall for this little deep stalker's tricks here.
Well, you know.
Give me more ale.
It's certainly trying to lead us into an ambush, of course. There it is, as you can see. To nobody's surprise. Alright, Alistair. Gone. Walker. We'll hit a whirlwind. Now everything is aggro to him. We can go around the outskirts and chop that wood. We're actually going to go save a win immediately. I noticed this, thankfully, pretty fast. Should be really easy to pull the aggro from her.
Let's make this quick, shall we?
Nice and smooth. What I like to see. Got another bloody sack. Head in the bag. The head of some demonic creature is in this sack. God only knows what kind of abomination we're collecting here.
As you wish.
Like all these fractured stones. I doubt there's going to be much in the way of things we're actually be using at any point during this, but... You see, you're getting a taste now just to how big the deep roads are. And this is only the left path. We gotta go do the right path after.
Watch for the beasts. It's either you or me. It's gonna be me. Time for some fun.
Like my companions are dealing with their own little ambush back here. Sneaky little deep stalkers. The gatekeeper wasn't kidding when he said they weren't afraid to take on groups their own size. Showing very little care at all for my party. That's a lot of deep stalkers that I'm dealing with right here. So, Alistair, Warcry, debuff as many as you can. Got stunned by a deep stalker. That's crazy. Now we can just kind of mosey on in, hit the whirlwind. Make it nice and easy. As long as we don't take unnecessary risks, we should be good in general down here. Gotta play it safe, make sure we don't take too many sips of our potions when we don't need to. We have plenty of stuff to deal with this. There are some chunky fights down here, in particularly one boss fight that's very cool but also very difficult. Definitely one I've struggled with before, so I'm going to be treating this episode as a chance to do it clean. We'll see how well that theory holds up when we get there. Broke out into a different section of the deep roads here. Darkspawn with a Bronto. Wouldn't have expected to see the Darkspawn tame a Bronto at some point during the deep roads. Suppose it's not super surprising though. That big AoE effect you just saw on the screen is because I stunned the Bronto. I hit him with paralysis. Now, obviously, this little genlock on the ballista needs to die. Actually didn't see that emissary, and now we're running into quite the issue. Alistair, you take care of that. Actually, let's check. Let's see. Do you cure me of this? He does. Perfect. So that we do have an antidote to that spell. I just need to pay attention and make sure I catch the cast. As long as I catch that being cast, I should be able to never die to that as long as I catch the fact that it was cast, because he can just cleanse it for me. I would assume he can cleanse it for himself too, but I don't actually know. It might work differently when it's on the man himself. One thing I know for sure is that we're going to run into a storage space issue down here, where there's no way we brought enough room to clear out the entire deep roads. I'm going to be keeping my eyes out for a merchant. Let's go left before we go right. The crosscut drifters.
Let's get started.
Right, now where are we at here? Clear off this little offshoot. Where does this take us? We're not going to progress through this tag until we're actually finished.
As you wish.
Looks like the words on this plaque have been changed several times. Here's a Revenant fight. No surprise to find these in the deep roads. This is probably the one that makes the most sense. Among the jumble of containers, there is a glint of something different. Small glass phylactery sits conspicuously on its own. The area is unnaturally cold. Dark shapes swirl around a slip of paper within the vial. The glass fractures at your touch. Right, now, Alistair, immediately you need to taunt.
Time for a little cleaning. Yeah.
And then you need to walk right.
What's that smell? Defend yourself.
Don't like that Win is taking damage in this encounter, so we're gonna pull her back. She's the battery, she needs to live. Plenty of abilities to hit this guy within the flank angle. And that's the end of the Deep Roads Rev. Of course, we get a scrap of paper and 3 sovereigns. Add that to the bank account gladly. And keep on moseying on.
Sure. Why not?
Pardon?
Oh, I'd give you a roll.
Okay, Oghren. Okay, buddy.
Roll?
Let's not flow with Grandma.
Looks like the right way out. Aeducan Thaig.
Okay, this is the road to Aeducan Thaig. We're not going to take that just yet. We have plenty of maps still to clear. Take this little slip street first. Then we do have to swing back to the other path we skipped at the start.
Trap.
I'm going to swing those around. Avoid as many of the traps as we can. Alistair did come with me this time, which is beautiful.
It's either you or me. It's gonna be me. They're fighting more dying.
There goes the Genlock set. Press my party a little, at least enough for me to take my time and dismantle this. Ironically, I almost stepped into that. It's a risky misclick. There's another bloody sack. Torso in a bag. The torso of some demonic creatures in this sack. So now we got what? The limbs, the head, and the torso. So that's the completion of that quest. Just gotta figure out what we're supposed to do with this sack of a corpse.
Right.
Pressing on. Whatever it is, it's not gonna be good, I'm sure. The fact that it's alive in that sack speaks for itself, kind of as a problem.
Must have victory.
Right.
Let me make sure that nothing gets at Win actually while I'm back here. There's always stragglers that are gonna aggro to her magic spells.
This should be easy.
In general, as long as you make sure you're doing more damage, even if they flick aggro for a second, they're gonna try and be aggroed on the thing giving out the most damage. Even with all the threat generation we have in the front line here, with me, with Alistair, with Oghren, some people are still gonna slip by, especially if he's not popping his taunt consistently, so we are gonna make sure he rips that as soon as he has it up. It's like the dwarven version of Mabari, these deep stalkers. If they were a little bigger, the dwarves could ride them into battle. They look like velociraptors. They remind me of. Well, we found the mama.
Here.
I don't like that my main character is the one that ran into that first. We are going to take advantage of her being stunned though. And the matriarch's down. That's good. In fact, we actually waltzed into the fucking hatchery by accident. No wonder there's so many of them down here. Casually waltzed into the nest. Sarcophagus. Woven heavy gloves and massive boots.
Right.
Kind of strange that there's a random sarcophagus down here. A random tomb. that's actually going to cover this left path completely once we pick this rubble. The Crosscut Drifters, that's another codex for that little group. And I think we are done on this left path. This was the way to Aeducan Thaig, so now we go back and go this way. Cut the other direction. And then there should be a little slip off on that direction that takes us back to the start. We'll clear it the whole way through. As soon as we're done with that offshoot, I'll go ahead and wrap this episode, and then we'll do Aeducan Thaig in its own episode. A lot of content in Orzammar. Orzammar is a huge location. You definitely get your money's worth out of Orzammar. There'll be probably over 10 videos on this arc by the time we're done. And this ain't even it. Like, the deep roads aren't even where this, like, tops off. There's so much more than just the deep roads here. We'll be coming back for Shale at some point too. One thing I will say is that I would prefer if Oghren stopped trying to nail the grandma. Just is a little old for you, brother. A little too refined too, honestly. Not that I'm throwing shade at Oghren in any particular way, but he seems like he likes his women with less intelligence, shall we say. Was it our father said at the start of the game when the little boy said, "What's a wench?" And he said the woman who pours the ale in a tavern, or a woman in a tavern who drinks a lot of ale. Now, I did see that my party was running ahead there, but I'm just letting them do that because that's the way we're going anyways. As long as Alistair friend's a little ahead, it should be okay. Don't switch to him now. Oh, this guy is perfect. He walked himself into death. Thank you, emissary. You are going to stop dealing damage to my mage. And that takes care of that little ambush. Topsider's hilt. The hilt of a fine elven sword. A partial inscription glows firmly in the presence of lyrium, but remains unreadable. That's going to give us the Codex Topsider's Honor, which is also a quest. We're going to be taking care of that while we're down in the deep roads. I did say I'd do every single quest.
As you wish. Let's get started.
Kind of another reason why I'm planning on breaking this up into so many episodes is because with the amount of quests down here, that really isn't a choice unless you want like a 4-hour YouTube video. I suspect might not be too approachable. Now, unfortunately, we do have to deal with shrieks while we're down here. Alistair, you're gonna taunt. You already know I want the finishing blow on this alpha. Actually, might not get it because we got knocked down. He did not. Who got it? Alistair got it. What's even cooler is when even when he gets it, we still get to do slow-mo. There goes the alpha. You have anything interesting for us? The greater health poultice. Surprising, you would think an ogre alpha would have some kind of like quest reward for us from somewhere. The fractured stone. Lyrium dust is not as worthless as it seems at its face value. You will need a bunch of that in Awakening, so if you pick it up now, you won't have to buy it or try and find it inside that. When you import a character, of course, you keep all your loot, so makes it nice and easy if you do it that way. You just be able to automatically complete most of the side quests you get in Awakening. You go prepared. Alrighty, here we are. I've already seen some red on the map, so looks like we got some fun to have. Another Bronto. We're actually coming behind these Darkspawn. Alistair, if you'd be so kind. We did get a paralyze off on the Bronto. That'd be Wynn's doing, I believe. That's that's the end of the Bronto. This last genlock's not going to be much match for us either.
Let's get started.
And mosey on back down this way. We have a statue back here. More rubble for the crosscut drifters. On early dwarven history. It's chapter 1 for Orzammar's history. This is back to the deep roads. Now we have this little left side outcropping to take care of. And this just brought us here, thankfully. That's going to take care of the path we didn't take up here. And the deep roads can be very confusing, especially if it's your first time down here, but the best kind of approach to this place is to just do what I'm doing and take it path by path, kind of break it down into sections and then approach those sections like you're breaking down a pie. Fights like this, you just don't want to aggro everything at once. We're gonna make sure we stay away from that initial fight because we're not gonna go that way yet.
Destroy the fiends.
Now my party's gonna run off without me. That's unfortunate, but I'll catch up. Alistair doing a piss poor job of tanking. But the Alpha skate on by. Thankfully he got stunned by a wind, so... Okay, now the Alpha is dead. We had managed to isolate him and kill him on his own. Pulling some of these people over. I'm not seeing an emissary, but I am seeing an ogre, so we'll try and get the rabble dead before he gets into the party. Oghren just wants a piece of the cake immediately, so Alistair torn. I heard a war cry. I'm gonna swing on around the back. And the ogre is dead. Beautiful. Nobody got the finish of that because he was paralyzed. That's his ass. He's cooked. Yeah, it's over for him. As soon as I saw Oghren's big swing in the winds right there, I knew that was over. Definitely gonna run out of space here. I might have to make a couple trips back to Orzammar in between episodes, make sure that we're not overflowing on all this. We did get a new quest called the Drifter's Cache. Where does that take us? The tale of the Crosscut Drifters has revealed the location of an old cache in Caradin's Cross. That is somewhere here. See if we can catch it on the map somewhere. There's the Drifter's Cache. It's back the way we came. We've already been there, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and grab that at some point. If anybody's playing along to the video, because I know sometimes... A lot of times when I play Dragon Age Origins, actually, I'll often find somebody who has a Let's Play of the game, and I'll kind of watch them play alongside me playing. Just, I think it's fun. It's interesting. You get to see other people playing as you play. If anybody is kind of like following along, doing what I do. It's one of the reasons I said where I could, I would kind of turn this playthrough into a walkthrough. Because of the nature of how I do Let's Plays. Well, how I watch Let's Plays, rather. It's ironic considering Let's Plays are supposed to be like the kind of blind immersive run, not the walkthrough, but I actually only ever watch Let's Plays of games that I've already completed. When you play the game so many times, it's kind of fun just to zone out and play and listen to somebody else have their experience with the game while you play. Or at least it's fun for me. Oghren should be okay with that. My health is holding up okay so far. What is Oghren dealing with back here? Okay. let's help Oghren here. Knock yourself out, buddy. Sip. That's gonna be the end of this gen lock. More clear fire crystal is actually useful for us. Let's give Oghren means to take his sips too. Take the icy. There you see a large little enclave of Darkspawn off to our left. Thankfully they didn't aggro in. Oghren just ran away from this guy and let him shoot him in the back. Certainly interesting tactically. Clean up all this mess before we hit up that little rabble.
This should be easy enough.
Make sure I don't miss any loot along the way.
Trap.
Well, we'll be careful with that. Blights. Gonna be a lot of interest in Darkspawn related codex down here actually, since it is the home of the Darkspawn. Right, that's the path that leads back to where we came in. So now we can take on this little gang. First things first, I'm getting rid of this tripwire.
Creatures.
What do we have? Genlock, Genlock, Genlock.
This should be easy enough.
Doesn't look like there's even any, there is an emissary. Okay, there is an emissary, right. He's dead first.
This should be easy.
Can't do anything about that fireball, though. No chain lining for you. Micromanagement for a second here. It's gonna take care of him.
Grey Wardens! As you wish.
Oghren's holding up good in his little 1v1. Perfect. Yeah, we're for sure gonna have to make a trip back to Orzammar. We're already at 101 out of 120 slots.
As you wish.
There's no way we have the inventory space for this. You know how I am about grabbing loot. You know I want it all. Right, so based on that, we have done pretty much everything. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go back for this cache. I'll cut the video to where I get it, and then I'll go ahead and go back to the start where we first came in. I'll cut the episode, and then I'll go clean up our inventory. That's what I'll do. So I will catch you guys at the cache. Alright, we should be coming up here on the Drifter's cache. Be right around this corner. There it is, you see it on the map. Let's see what we came all this way back for. What goodies do you have for us?
Right.
We have a Battle Axe, a Ring of the Warrior, which is 2 decks, 2 strength and 2 decks. We'll go ahead and give that to Oghren. We have Effort's Gloves. We've been collecting this off on the side. We have Thorn of the Dead Gods, which is one of the unique daggers we read about in the codexes. They said that some of them went missing in the Deep Roads. We found one. That's the quest complete on that. Alright guys, so in the interest of keeping things small and consumable, I'm probably just going to wrap the episode here while I head back to this little icon so we can go turn in some of our inventory space. So that is going to be a wrap for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. Don't forget to ring that bell if you want to support the cause and help improve the channel. As always, there's a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you guys soon with more Dragon Age Origins. Have a good day, guys. Take care.